Well, hello everyone. I'm Roger Haskett. Welcome, leaders in a pandemic. So we've been talking about all sorts of things, how to set up your office. We've been talking about become the joy and use gratefuls to create power in your organization. I want to talk today about. I want to tell you a story. That's what I really want to do. So earlier this week, I had a client of mine reach out and ask if I would mind sort of zooming into their staff meeting. And they just wanted me to show up and talk a little bit about things, that answer a couple questions, talk about the things that I talk about, pressure cooker confidence, how to be engaging, etc. So I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't do a lot of work. I was a little stressed. I got to admit, I was a little stressed because I was like, I don't really know what I'm going to be doing here. And I wasn't actually working on Zoom. I was working on their platform, which is different than Zoom. And so I was trying to familiarize myself, but it was hard once I got on. I actually found myself getting stressed. And as we started the talk, I'm talking about how to be more present on video, and I was finding myself struggling because I couldn't see everyone. I'm used to now on Zoom where I can see like the Brady Bunch set up so that you can see sort of everyone. And I could only see 2 or 3 people out of the 9 or 10. And so I gotta admit, I was a little stressed, and so I was up in my head a little, trying to talk, asking them some questions, giving them, talking to them, but still, the idea, sharing some of my expertise and sharing some of my energy and sharing some of my, really, I think the way I think about things, the way I see the world, and it went really well. I had a great time. It was nice to connect with these people again. I hadn't seen them for a while, and overall, it was a really great experience, but I hung up and I was like, I don't really, or I signed off, whatever, hung up, that's old school. And I was like sitting there going, well, and I made a bunch of notes going, this is what I talked about, and these are the things that they said, and this is, what they focused on, and what the questions they asked me, just so I'd have I could download and debrief. And as I'm doing that, I get a call, and it's the guy who organized it all. So I'm talking to him, and it's great because he goes, this was just amazing. Like, I should check my notes, but he was like, okay, it was perfect for what we needed. You were inspiring. He said, you totally changed the tone of our regular weekly meeting. He said, usually it's very somber. I mean, let's face it, any business meeting right now, unless you're a very specific company like Zoom, unless you're one of those type of companies, we're mostly struggling. And they said it totally changed the tone of so the rest of the meeting was upbeat, and people were focusing on the positive. He said that it was after our discussion, after what I was talking about, he said that it became way easier to focus on the future and focus on where they were trying to go and what goals that they were trying to reach. And they said, it was eye-opening to see you talk so authentically about what's going on and what's happening and how it's affecting you. And I always find that very funny. I always find when people say, you're so authentic, Roger, which I get quite often. And I'm always like, really? I guess so. I'm just being me. I don't know, what would it mean to be inauthentic? I guess it means to not be me. I mean, I'm an actor. You'd think that I would know exactly what they mean, because acting you think is inauthentic, but it's not. That I lie for a living as an actor, but I lie on my way to truth. That's the whole idea, is that I'm using, I'm not really that person. I'm really me, Roger Haskett. I'm playing a doctor. I'm not really a doctor. Or I'm playing a cop. I'm not really a cop. But the truth is, for actors, authenticity is always what you're going for. You're aiming for truth, always. You always want to be true. You want to be more true as an actor than you actually have to be if you're that person. If you're a cop, you can be anything. You can be like, whatever, I'm a cop. But if you're playing a cop, you have to have this authentic nature to you. Otherwise, people are like, I don't believe you as a cop, even if you could easily be a cop. So back to this point. So what I found after that session, after the doing it and talking to him, is what I found is that we have a new product. And we have this product because of a couple things. One, helping others. The only thing I was doing in that conversation earlier today was helping them. There's no recompense coming back to me. I was making no money, although in the future I intend to. And I wasn't even at the time thinking, oh, in the future I'll make this money. I was just doing this as a favor. I was not even as a favor. I was doing it to reach out and help, because we're in a pandemic. This is a time for you to make your difference. This is a time to make a difference. This is a time to change our focus and our priorities and start to realize that really what matters in our life is community, is our relationships, friendship, love. These are the things that matter, as opposed to, fame or money, or although money's important. That's, having a business that isn't making money right now is pretty stressful. So, some money's important. But what was clear here is that what we're building, what I was doing there was helping them. And what we were doing is building relationships and friendships and a community, not creating a business transaction. However, at the end of it, I go, wow, I've created a business transaction here, because I can now offer this to other people, to other organizations, to say, hey, bring me in for, once a week, or bring me in every month, or bring me in twice every 2 weeks, whatever it is, when you need a shot. So one of the people said to me before I left, they said, Roger, having you be here for it was just like 15 minutes. Said, I don't need coffee. Like, you're my coffee this morning. Like, wow, do I feel like I can do anything now? Like, after having your perspective mixed into our group and you answering our questions and me talking about things that are relevant and absolutely essential and important to what they're doing on a daily basis. So the story ends with me being able to make this video where I was reaching out to help others, right? This is what I've been talking about for weeks and weeks now with these videos, how important it is for us to help others and how it gives us a jolt like nothing else. But what it also does is it creates relationship, and it creates friendships, and it creates all sorts of bonds that you can then look at and go, oh, how do I want to act around these bonds now? Like, how do I want to proceed now? Because these things that have been created have been extremely valuable. So I would just like to say that it's awesome for me to know that the stuff that I'm doing, that I'm talking to people about, the stuff that I believe in, that I force myself to live by, that it works. That it really, really works. I mean, I've seen it happen so many times, but here's another example. It really works. Fighting to be positive, helping others, thinking about stress in a way that helps you, not hinders you. Getting comfortable being uncomfortable. All of these things are ways for you now in your organizations to build power and to build community and to build relationship, because we need those things right now, don't we? Power, internal power, and the power to bond your team and bind your team together. Don't we need that? Don't we need engagement? Don't we need it more than ever? Don't we need community more than ever? Right now, we do. We do. So for leaders in a pandemic, I suggest 1, help others. Fight to be positive. Reach out and see what you can do for the world. And 2, think about bringing me in, or someone like me that you know. But think about bringing me in. I'd like some work for these little shots of, these sort of espresso shots that will turbocharge and change your staff meeting from somber, low energy, I don't really even want to be in this meeting because all we're talking about is somewhat painful things usually, to a meeting where people leave it inspired, going, I now have the power to work today on pursuing goals that will change our future and hopefully change some of your present. I'm Roger Haskett. I hope this is helping. I really do.